Hey guys, it's me, Steph. So recently, I've had a lot of people asking me questions about me working in Disney World, and yeah, everyone's been like, like how did you apply for it? What are you going to be doing when you're there? Like, how long are you there? Blah blah blah. So I thought I would just kind of make a video and talk about it. And a couple people are like, oh, are you gonna vlog when you're there and like take videos and stuff? And I was like, I want to, but I just want to remind people that I'm not gonna be in Disney World like vacationing for a year. Like I am still gonna be working. So yeah, I have days off, and I am planning on going to Harry Potter World when I'm there on one of my days off. Because I've actually never been to Universal Studios. So yeah, I'm gonna take more videos and stuff like that and like update the channel. So I'll film what I can and keep you guys updated. So I guess starting from square one, basically the program I am in right now is the Cultural Representative Program. And if you guys have ever been to Walt Disney World, you guys know it's not just like one park, it's not just Disneyland like the other parks. It's like 4 giant parks, and one of the parks is Epcot, and they have the World Showcase, which is like 11 countries from all over the world, and they're all like around this giant lake in the middle, and that's where the illuminations, the like firework and music show happens. And Canada, where I am from, is one of the 11 countries around the giant lake in Epcot. So basically, I'm going to be working in the Canadian Pavilion as a cultural representative and representing my country. And I'm working in the food and beverage area, which means I'm going to be working in the Fancy Pants restaurant there. It's called Le Salier. So a little bit of French, because we are bilingual. But yeah, thankfully I don't have to like speak French or anything though. But yeah, so I'm going to be starting as like a hostess, and then you go through training and stuff like that, and you can like work your way up to be like server, like bartender and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing, which is really exciting. But I'm gonna talk about how I got the job basically. So it's actually like, it's a pretty long process, to be honest. It's just like, it's long in the sense like in between each interview and stages, like you have to wait for quite a while. So it's May right now. My contract starts in September, and it's a full year, so I'm there from the beginning of this September coming up till the end of August. So if anyone watching this is going to be working in Disney World between those time slots, leave a comment and let me know, because that'd be awesome. I'd love to meet people. Yeah, so how I got the job is I applied for it online. How I found out about it is I just went to Google, because I knew there was always like some sort of program where people from all over the world could like apply to work in Disney. So I just went to Google and I was like, to work in the Canadian Pavilion or something like that, like international, job opportunities in Walt Disney World. And basically it takes you to this website, and it's called Yummy Jobs, and those are the people who I guess kind of like coordinate with Disney and like basically like kind of like run the contracts and stuff like that. So you have to apply online through these guys. You can also send your stuff in the mail. So I just did both. I sent a resume and cover letter in the mail to Yummy Jobs. I think they're in like California. I could be wrong. They're somewhere in the States. And then it's mandatory to fill out the stuff online. So you don't have to send the stuff in the mail. You can if you want. So you fill out like all of your work experience, like why you're interested, where you're from, blah, 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 do all that. And then I did this last August. So I did this at the end of August 2012. And then I think they did respond. We're like, okay, like thank you for your information, and like we'll keep you updated. And then I didn't hear anything from them until like the fall. It was like maybe November where they emailed me back. So a couple months later, they emailed me back and they're like, hey, we'd like to set up a phone interview with you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So what they do is they call you and they're super duper nice. They're so Disney. And the girl on the phone was just, you know, asking me questions like, why do you think you'd be qualified for this? Like, what could you contribute to working here? And, you know, like the typical job interview questions. They do go over a couple of the things, like you live in dorms there, but you could live in a room with one other person, or you could live in a room with up to like 3 or 4 other people from all over the world, and like, are you down with that and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, totally. Like, I'm from a big family. I'm totally fine with that. And they just kind of like go through a couple things with you. Basically, they ask you all the typical job interview questions, and also tell you some things that I guess you should kind of know, you know, like going over like the dorms and stuff like that, and like transportation, like to and from work. You can like take a bus. So yeah, they did all that, and then the interview's done. I was like, okay, thank you, goodbye, like we'll get in touch with you. And then I didn't hear until, when was it? It was the end of February, I think. And this is now 2013, and at the end of February I got an email, and it was like, oh, like, basically, we're following up with you, like, we really liked your enthusiasm over the phone and stuff like that, and would like to advance you to the next round of interviews, which will be, it was March something. I don't know. It was over spring break. Yeah, so the interviews were, it was around the beginning of March, in Vancouver for me. So for Canada, they usually go to Vancouver or either Toronto or Montreal. This year they just went to Montreal and Vancouver. So thankfully I live in Victoria. Vancouver is only a ferry ride away. So I just went over there on my spring break, and the interview process when you get there, it's in like, this year it was in a super swanky motel. Like, it's the first time. Like, I've done this before, so it was really cool. And there's kids from, I guess kind of all over Canada, like the western half, like there are kids from Alberta, and there are kids from like, I guess like, you know, like this area. So it was really neat. You got to meet people. So obviously for interviews and stuff like that, you need to look nice, but everyone knows that. I brought an extra couple resumes and stuff like that to the interview. I don't remember if I actually ended up needing them. I think possibly. Yes, I'd say bring some extras just in case. Look really cute. But be prepared to wait around. I wasn't expecting this, and Vancouver was like really crap weather that day. Like, it was like raining, and I remember being all like stressed out, and I was like worried that my hair was gonna like look like crap by the time I got to the interview, but thankfully it was fine. But basically you get there, sign in is like, it was like 8:30 a.m. You could get there and like sign up and like, you know, make sure you're there and stuff. And then at 9 o'clock was the orientation, and the orientation was, there's like a schedule. It's scheduled to be like 2 hours. It was only like not even an hour. And basically what the orientation is you guys all go into this kind of like business room. They have got those in hotels. And you all sit there, and they just basically, they play a couple cute Disney videos basically talking about experiences from like past people who've worked in Epcot doing the same program, blah blah blah, and like how much fun they had. And they're like going through all the information. You get like a booklet with all of the info and stuff like that for your job. So yeah, they do that, and they answer questions and everything like that. So that only takes about an hour. And then from there, they're like, all right, so the interviews they start at like noon or 1 o'clock, and they go till like 6 o'clock at night. Like, they take up the entire afternoon. And there's 5 people. I think it's 5 people per every hour, every half hour. I think it's 5 for every hour. I could be wrong. I think my interview was like 10 minutes. It wasn't very long. Yeah, so at this time it's like noon, and then they basically say what time you need to come back at, what time your interview's at. Mine wasn't until like 3:30, so me and a couple of the people who were there at the interview just like went to one of the malls close by, and we're just like hanging out. So then you come back at your allotted time, and you go in, and you just, you know, have your typical interview and chat with them. They ask you all the interview questions. And then from there, they're like, all right, thank you. And they're all like, they're so sweet and they're so nice. You know, shakes hands, say goodbye, and then they say they'll get in touch with you. So then you get to go home and wait. And that sucks. So, yeah, so basically what can happen is there's like, you can get one of 3 options. You can either A, be hired, woohoo, on the spot. B, be put on the hiring list, which at the interviews I met quite a few people who had done the program before, and they said they just loved it so much they wanted to do it again, but like most of them got hired from the hiring list. Like one of the girls is telling me she was on the hiring list for like 5 months, and then finally they're like, hey, we have a contract for you. So who knows, you can be on the hiring list for a long amount of time, or you can just like not get hired at all, which would suck. Yeah, so basically, yeah, and I didn't cover, the pavilions are all different. Some have like, they all have merchandise and food, but some have different like attractions and stuff like that. So when you apply, you can apply for merch, attractions, or food and beverage, which is like the restaurant. And I kind of applied for just all three because I was like, why not? Like I have experience in restaurant and retail, but I told them I would rather be a server. Like if I could pick, I would like to be a server. So that's what I got hired as. Well, like starting as hostess, but yeah, which is really exciting. So those are the three categories. Hold on. I have a Winnie the Pooh tumbler as well to celebrate the Disneyness. Yeah, so you can pick from one of those three: merch, attractions, or food and beverage. And I don't actually know what the attraction is in the Canadian pavilion. I think it's a movie. I don't know. Yeah, so anyway, so then you do all that, and then you're done your interview, you head back home and you wait, and they'll contact you by email. And I don't remember how long I had to wait. They said they'll get in touch. They told all of us they get in touch with us by like March 17th or something, and saying yes, no, or like hiring list. So then, you know, you're waiting, and they really pushed it. Like I'm pretty sure I got my email like on the 17th, and I was like, ah. And I actually got on the hiring list first. I wasn't hired right away, so I was kind of like, I was kind of bummed out. So I was like, okay, whatever. You know, I'm on the hiring list, so I just responded back. I was like, okay, like, thank you. Like, you know, keep me updated if, you know, there's a job opening or something like that. Like, you know, let me know. Yeah, so I was on the hiring list, and then thankfully I wasn't on the hiring list for like months. Before, like at the end of March, I got an email, just like, it was honestly like 2 weeks later, and then they were like, congratulations, we have a real job for you. Do you accept? And I was like, heck yes. So yeah, so I got, you know, food and beverage. So then once you have the job, they send you an email. This is really long. Sorry guys. There's just a lot. They send you an email with all of your information. It came with 3 attachments, and there's one basically saying like all like, I guess like, you know, like the things you'll be doing and stuff like that in your area. Since I'm Canadian and I'm going to be working in the States for a year, I'm going to be on a year visa, so there's a couple like legal things they go over, and just like there was like a thing about like living in dorms and blah blah blah, and like rent and everything like that. Your rent, like living in the dorms, is just taken out of your paycheck each week, I think it is. Yeah. And you're going to be working, you're there full time, you're working a minimum of 40 hours a week, which is awesome. And they say it gets, obviously you're going to work a lot more, you're going to be working overtime during like Christmas and Halloween and stuff like that. And I was like, whatever, that's totally fine. Yeah, so one of the things that's like on the checklist once you get the job is they need to get a police check from you. And I kind of like procrastinated the police check because I kind of figured it was like free, and it was gonna be like I was just like walk into my police station, like say my name and like walk out with it. Turns out it's not that easy. It's not hard, but it's not easy. Where I guess it can be free in some cities, more expensive in others. It was $50 where I'm from, which kind of sucked, but it takes 5 to 7 days to like process it. So actually, I have it. I'm pretty sure it's illegal if I talk about this on the internet, like what the police do. But yeah, it's just they need the police check from you, Disney. They need it from you by a certain date, and I at the time had no money, and I was like, no, like I'm waiting for my next paycheck. Like, can you guys like extend the date that I can like fax it or like scan it and email it to you, because I haven't gotten paid yet, so like I can't even afford to pay for the police check. And they're like, yeah, for sure, whatever. Like they're super chill about it as long as you let them know. So then I got it, and yeah, and then I just like scanned it and sent it back to them. You can fax it, you can do whatever you want. But one of the weird things I found out with these like police checks is like when I was filling it out, there's a thing that said if there is someone else in I don't know if it's in the province or in the country, like also in Canada, was the exact same birthday as me, like same day, same month, and same year especially. My police check can get like delayed by like 3 weeks, and I'll have to like check my fingerprints and blah 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 if the person with the matching birthday has a criminal record. So I was like really worried that I was gonna like go in to pick it up and they'd be like, surprise, like you need to take your finger checks to make sure you're not a criminal, blah blah blah, and then I would just be screwed. So thankfully that didn't happen. I got my good old police check, and there's little check boxes they fill out, and it's all like, no, she is not a criminal and stuff like that, which is good. So yeah, you have to get that to send back to Disney. You might have to get, don't quote me on this, but you might have to get some sort of like health insurance. I'm gonna say yes. I think you have to get health insurance for the first 4 months, but then after there it's your own decision if you want to like keep it or not. So because they don't have free health care in the States. Ooh. But in Canada we do. So yeah, and that's all I can kind of think of, like off the top of my head. I'm really excited. I've heard like your roommates can be from like, you know, Italy or like China. They could be from like, you know, some all over the world, because everyone who works in the pavilions in Epcot are literally like, they're cultural representatives. They're from all over the world. So like there's Norway, there's Morocco, there's China, Japan, there's France, there's Italy, Canada, America. There's the UK, which is really cool because they have an Irish pub within the UK. So I don't know if they hire like, you know, like British people for the pavilion, but then Irish people for the pub. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited. I get to meet people from all over the world. My days off, I'm gonna be going to the parks and adventuring a lot. So yeah, so if you guys have any more questions for me, just let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I will keep you guys updated on all this fun stuff, and I will see you later. Okay, bye!